Oh my goodness, it's working this time. I can actually see it. I see myself here too. All right, well, a little bit late. Had to update the operating software. Welcome back, everybody. We did it. We figured it out. It's happening. Here we go. This is on this day, 1952, Singin' in the Rain debuted in theaters. So I mentioned this at the top of this hour. One of my favorite songs of all time, Don O'Connor, Make 'Em Laugh, that routine. That was the first thing I ever remember seeing on TV was Don O'Connor, Make 'Em Laugh, dancing around with this little dummy thing that he was going all around with. This, I don't know. Anyway, Make 'Em Laugh, Make 'Em Laugh, Make 'Em Laugh was one of the first things I ever remember. And I think it was, did we have a color TV? I'm pretty sure we had a color TV. Why would we not have a color TV? I don't know why we would have a black and white one. But yeah, Singing in the Rain today, amongst other things that are happening, also Viagra. Is it Viagra Day today? Yeah. Oh, the FDA on this day in 1998 approved Viagra. So there you go. It's a real stand-up day. What? All right. This is time to find our daily dad joke. It's a 5-minute walk from my house to the bar, but a 45-minute walk from the bar to my house. The difference is staggering. That's pretty good. Okay, we're going to do that. All right, that's one that we'll do. There we go. Let's check the mail here. There we go. And we'll just copy that, and then we're going to go over to the work system here, and we're going to search to Dad Jokes, Dad Jokes channel.
That has led to genocide laid bare in Gaza. Israel, which did not attend the session, rejected the findings. Its diplomatic mission said the use of the word genocide was outrageous and said the war was against Hamas and not Palestinians.
All right,
Israel's
this one, let's do from Jessica K here.
According to local health officials, and driven a third of Gaza's population to the brink of starvation. It was launched in response to Hamas's October 7th attack on
and we'll email that one as well.
President Joe Biden and Vice
Lacking a little bit of sleep today, gang. A little tired. Kids were up late gaming last night, and sleep did not come very quickly. It did come quickly, but then I kept getting woken up. Spring break. Okay. Let's see here. Perfect. So there's another one. That one there. Have the second dad joke ready to go. That's from Jessica K. And then we will have some Easter dad jokes. Here we go. What are you calling it? An eccentric? It's not empty anymore. Why does the Easter Bunny have such a good... What sport are eggs the best at? Right? I don't get that one. What do you hear most about beautifully decorated eggs? There to die for. Why was the Easter Bunny hired for the job? He had the most egg experience. Why don't chicks too many foul? What do the kids do when the trees were all hidden? Easter morning, they invented an egg-splanation. How does the Easter chick from scratch? How does an Easter chick bake a cake from scratch? That's pretty funny. Why are Easter bunnies more tired when Easter's in April? Because they've just finished a long march.
Trump called the president Joe Budden and said Biden, quote, disinformates and misinformates all the time. Former President Trump is now selling Bibles as he runs for the White House.
Oh, is he now?
The presumptive Republican nominee released a video on his Truth Social platform Tuesday, urging his supporters to buy the God Bless the USA Bible, which is inspired by country music singer Lee Greenwood. Trump is selling Bibles at $60 a piece as he's faced a serious money crunch amid mounting legal bills while he fights 4 criminal indictments along with a series of civil charges.
God bless the USA Bible, and it's just very important to me. I want to have a lot of people have it. All Americans need a Bible in their home, and I have many. It's my favorite book. It's a lot of people's favorite book.
My favorite
We must
book.
protect content that is pro God. We love God, and we have to protect anything that is pro God. We must defend God in the public square and not allow the media or the left-wing groups to silence, censor, or discriminate against us. We have to bring Christianity back into our lives and back into what will be again a great nation.
Last month, Trump debuted a new line of Trump-branded sneakers, including $399 gold Never Surrender hikes.
Okay, here we go.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. chose Nicole Shanahan on Tuesday to be his vice presidential pick, adding a wealthy but
4
nationally unknown
minutes.
figure to his independent White House bid that's trying to appeal to voters disaffected by a rematch of the 2020 election. The 38-year-old is a California attorney and philanthropist who's never held office. She leads Baya Echo Foundation, an organization she founded to direct money toward issues including women's reproductive science, criminal justice reform, and environmental causes. Kennedy, a former Democrat, made the announcement in Oakland, California, where Shanahan was raised in an impoverished family. In making the announcement, Kennedy said, quote, "Nicole and I both left the Democratic Party." And the Brazilian and French presidents Tuesday announced a plan to invest €1 billion in the Amazon, including parts of the rainforest in neighboring French Guyana. The two countries' governments said in a joint statement the money will be spread over the next 4 years. To protect the rainforest, it will be a collaboration of state-run Brazilian banks and France's investment agency. Private resources will also be welcome. French President Emmanuel Macron and his Brazilian counterpart, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, are meeting this week to revive relations between the countries after years of frictions with former President Jair Bolsonaro. John Diddy Combs' attorney said Tuesday that searches at the rapper's LA and Miami properties by federal authorities in a sex trafficking probe were a gross misuse of military-level force, and Combs is innocent and will continue to fight to clear his name. It's the first public statement from the music mogul's team since Monday's raids of his homes by Homeland Security investigators. Combs' attorney said there's no excuse for the excessive show of force and hostility exhibited by the authorities or by the way his children and employees were treated. The searches were part of an ongoing sex trafficking investigation by federal authorities in New York. NBC News baptized Tuesday with former Republican National Committee Chief Ronna McDaniel less than a week after hiring her as an on-air political contributor. A decision that followed a furious protest by some journalists and commentators. In announcing the decision in a memo, NBC Universal's chair apologized to staff members who felt let down by the hire, acknowledging he signed off on it, saying, quote, "No organization, particularly a newsroom, can succeed unless it's cohesive and aligned." Over the last few days, it's become clear that this appointment undermines that goal. More on the way on this Wednesday morning. Grab the coffee. Let's go.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You love the new Paranormal Radio from Talk Stream Live.
Talk Stream
Live. Talk shows covering
Ghosts.
strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now.
Paranormal Radio app.
Paranormal Talk Entertainment.
Okay, here we go. Free in Google Play.
You know, it's true. Difficult
All right.
time.
Make sure we got our daily. Whoa. What the heck is playing? Oh, jeez, wait a second. That's not what I wanted. Oh, that's why we double check. All right. That's what I wanted. It's time for your daily dad jokes. That's right. Make you laugh, sigh, roll your eyes. Do, 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 do. 1 minute, Adam. 1 minute. Bum, ba-dum, bum. Ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum, bum. Ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum. Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, ba-dum. And we've got Jim Holmes coming up in there in a little bit. Let's figure out who we're going to shout out for the weather.
Saving. Here you go. Call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE 40.
855-SHARE.
40.
30 seconds, Adam.
Want to remain a free and sovereign nation, more people need to understand the principles and values that build America.
Let's shout out
At the
Placerville.
Democrat Society, we have the organization, the plan,
Or
and
is,
the resources.
what was his
to
name?
do
Matt
just
Lauer
that.
said
Our founder,
Placerville.
Robert said, Education.
When there was
is our
national
greatest
news in
strategy,
Placerville.
our only weapon. Go to JBS.org
Placerville,
to
man.
learn more, including how you can get involved to work locally and impact national. Join us at jbs.org.
And good Wednesday morning to you. Wednesday, March 27th, 30 minutes past the top of the hour here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI, Voice of the Foothills. That is 7:30 a.m. And welcome to the show. Placerville, currently 42 degrees where you're at right now. Looking for a high today of 54 degrees. Holy smokes, there is I almost said sports ball. No, it is the daily dad joke music. That's right. Make you laugh, sigh. Probably roll your eyes. Most likely, if I were a betting man, I'm going to say that you're going to roll your eyes at least one of these. We'll see what happens. Here we go. It is a 5-minute walk from my house to the bar, but a 45-minute walk from the bar to my house. The difference is staggering. All right, there we go. I kind of rolled my eyes at that one too. All right, checking in on the inbox there. You can email me live at KAHI.com, LIVE at KAHI.com. Jessica S. sent this one in. What should you name your pasta strainer? Do you even name a pasta strainer? All right, well, let's go with this one. What should you name your pasta strainer? Colin, duh. Because Colander, Adam. Colander, what should you name your pasta strainer? Colin, duh. There we go. Got to get the exclamation point on the duh there. All right, we've got Easter coming up here on Sunday. Let's have a couple of Easter dad jokes. How about that? How does an Easter chick bake a cake? From scratch. No, keep the music going. We got one more. And here's a bonus one for you. Why are Easter bunnies more tired when Easter's in April? Because they've just finished a long march. Hey, there we go. And there are your daily dad jokes for this Wednesday, March 27th. Again, you can send me yours live at KAHI.com. Jessica, thanks for sending yours in. You can also call me 530-885-3565. Back with your KAHI weather right after this.
In Recovery Anonymous.
I came to Food Addicts and Recovery Anonymous, overweight and depressed. I was dieting, binging, stealing food, and lying about it for years.
That was okay.
Call 781-932.
There were some good jokes in there.
Visit Food Addicts.
Not our strongest, but
I had a weight problem. I didn't know I was addicted.
It'll work.
The FA program gave me a healthy body.
All right, until tomorrow, Easter dad jokes.
Call FA 781-932-6300.
All right, Timmy.
Or visit us on our website at
You're up with the weather.
foodAddicts.org.
Good Wednesday morning. I'm forecasting partly to mostly cloudy skies today and tonight. Occasional rain showers developing. And the high temperature 55 to 60. And the overnight temperature in the mid-40s. Breezy through tonight. Partly sunny in the mid-50s. And Thursday with a chance of a few showers. Spotty showers expected Friday. Mostly cloudy skies in the low to mid-50s.
I gotta sneeze.
This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 105 AM 950
Bless you.
KAHI.
Check out the Garden Goddesses here on the Voice of the Foothills
Woof.
Saturday mornings at
Allergies? Something about the thing on this thing, I think, that just makes me sneeze all the time. Woof. Row by row, someone bless these seeds. So John Denver on the Muppets, by the way. That recording right there.
AM 950, streaming all over the world at KAHI.com.
As we read about another teenager suicide, someone is eating lunch alone. As we mourn the loss of yet another young life, someone just found their parents' unsecured gun. As we debate what's happening to our children, someone is posting a letter saying goodbye. Knowing the signs is the best way to prevent teen suicide. Learn the signs at sandyhookpromise.org.
34 minutes past the top of the hour. Coming up in our next segment, we'll have Placer County Supervisor Jim Holmes is going to be here. I had to remind myself of what's happening. Jim's going to be here with me. We'll talk all about updates from the board meeting that just happened. Back now to America's First News. See you back here in just a little bit.
Authorities say all 6 workers missing after a bridge collapse Tuesday are presumed dead. The Coast Guard called off the search overnight.
So tonight that based on the length of time that we've
Back to, let's see, Jim's going to be here.
that we put into it.
Welcome in studio guest, always fun. And I'm going to go record some more news now. back
So
after this.
evening at about 7:30, we're going to suspend the active search and rescue efforts. Coast Guard's not going away. None of our partners are going away, but we're just going to transition to a different phase. We've got very difficult water temperatures. You have structures from the bridge that are in the water that can move with the tides and currents, making that dangerous for divers and people in the water to actually try to do recovery. And we do not want to injure any of these first responders in this recovery effort. We absolutely want to be as safe as possible for everyone involved in it.
At least 8 people went into the water, 2 survived, but the other 6, all identified as part of a construction crew that had been filling potholes on the bridge, were missing. Federal and state officials said the incident appeared to be an accident. The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating, and ship traffic entering and leaving the Port of Baltimore has been suspended indefinitely.
So the NTSB arrived on scene at 6 a.m. To investigate an accident involving a Singapore-registered vessel with the name Dali, D-A-L-I, which made contact with the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore, Maryland, at around 1:30 a.m. this morning. The vessel is 985 feet long. It's a 95,000 gross ton container ship. I've seen information about crew members on board. We still need to verify the numbers of crew on board and their status. Under our Memorandum of Understanding with the Coast Guard, the NTSB is leading this investigation. The Coast Guard will support this investigation. Our Memorandum of Understanding, for example, provides for when an accident involves another mode of transportation and other factors, the NTSB will lead that investigation.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg said it was too soon to give a time frame for clearing the channel, which is about 50 feet deep, while President Joe Biden said he planned to travel to Baltimore soon and expects the federal government to pay for the entire cost of rebuilding.
Around 850,000 vehicles go through that port every single year, and we're going to get it up and running again as soon as possible. 15,000 jobs depend on that port. We're going to do everything we can to protect those jobs and help those workers. The bridge is also critical for travel, not just for Baltimore, but for the Northeast Corridor. Over 30,000 vehicles cross the Francis Scott Key Bridge on a daily basis. It's virtually it's one of the most important elements for the economy in the Northeast and the quality of life. My transportation secretary is there now. As I told Governor Moore, I've directed my team to move heaven and earth to reopen the port and rebuild the bridge as soon as humanly possible. And we're going to work hand in hand with the support of Maryland to support Maryland, whether they ask for it. We're going to work with our partners in Congress to make sure the state gets the support it needs. It's my intention that the federal government will pay for the entire cost of reconstructing that bridge. And I expect the Congress to support my effort.
Baltimore's mayor called the incident an unthinkable tragedy. The governor said all of our hearts are broken for the victims and their families. He also hailed first responders for their quick response. A New York judge Tuesday issued a gag order barring Donald Trump from commenting publicly on witnesses, prosecutors, court staff, and jurors in his upcoming hush money criminal trial, citing the former president's history of threatening, inflammatory, and denigrating remarks about people involved in his legal cases. Judge Juan Merchan's decision, echoing a gag order on Trump's Washington, D.C. election interference criminal case, came a day after he rejected the defense's push to delay the Manhattan trial until summer and ordered it to begin April 15th. If the date holds, it will be the first criminal trial of a former president. Turning to sports this morning, and Luka Doncic scored 26 of his 28 points in the first half, and the Dallas Mavericks beat the Sacramento Kings 132-96 for their 5th straight victory. Doncic added 11 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals as the Mavs moved into 6th place in the Western Conference, a game ahead of the Kings, with both teams trying to avoid the play-in tournament. Luka says the red-hot Mavs are clicking on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, we're getting better on our defense. We have guys that can really defend. The whole team is listening. We're talking a lot on defensive end. So we just got to keep going like that, man.
You're hearing the MVP shouts from your teammate. We talked to Jason Kidd pregame, and he called you Superman. He called Kyrie Batman. What's that chemistry been like between you two superheroes on this team?
He's the Batman. I'm the Robin. Yeah, just amazing, man. Everything on our team is amazing, man. But outside basketball, he's just a great person, and we all get along so well. So it's just the chemistry is really good right now.
You have 5 consecutive wins. You've won 9 of your last 10 games. I know this is going to be a fight the last 10 games of the regular season in the Western Conference. What's the focus and determination like of this team right now?
We got to go game by game. Today was a really tough game. Special back-to-back game here. The crowd is amazing here, so we got to go game by game.
Doncic making the comments to TNT's Lauren Jabara. Kyrie Irving had 24 points and 8 assists. Sacramento will host Dallas again on Friday night. Austin Reeves had a triple-double and made a tie-breaking 3 with 37 seconds left in the second overtime as the LA Lakers overcame the absence of LeBron James and rallied to beat the Bucks 128-124. Reeves had 29 points, 14 boards, and 10 dimes in 47 minutes as the Lakers opened a 6-game trip, winning their 4th straight despite trailing by 19 points in the 4th and never leading in regulation. Klay Thompson had 28 points, Jonathan Kuminga 18, and Golden State pulled away in the second half to beat short-handed Miami. Steph Curry and Andrew Wiggins each had 17 for Golden State, which led by 2 at the half and then led by as many as 22 in the 4th. Curry on the impact of his splash brother, Klay Thompson, returning to the starting lineup.
His ability to give us, spacing on the floor. And it's a credit to him just in general on being able to respond to whatever he's been asked to do this year, whether it's coming off the bench, whether it's starting. Most people think there might be, maybe they think it's easy to just transition from one to the other, and it's not. You have to kind of prepare your mind to, and your body to be ready for whatever, is thrown at you. So it's credit to him and it's his attitude and his preparation.
Bam Adebayo had 24 points for Miami, which played without leading scorer Jimmy Butler, sidelined by an illness. And Jalen Williams scored 4 of his 26 points in the last half minute, and the Oklahoma City Thunder rallied with a 12-0 run during the final 2 minutes and 30 seconds to escape a 119-112 win over New Orleans. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 24 points, including a tying 3 with 129 left. Despite playing through a sore quadriceps, he said he's been a little banged up since a victory over Utah last Wednesday. Zion Williamson had 29 points and 10 assists, and C.J. McCollum had 23 for the Pelicans. Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes can claim another record, the most viewed first-round game in women's NCAA tournament history. The Hawkeyes' 91-65 victory over Holy Cross Saturday averaged 3.23 million viewers on ABC, according to Nielsen. That surpassed the 2.50 million who watched last year's Elite Eight game between Iowa and Louisville, making this the most viewed women's tournament game ever, excluding the Final Four contest and title games. It was the 3rd Iowa game this season where the viewer average was more than 3 million. The 7 Iowa games on network TV have averaged 2.27 million. Iowa's regional semifinal game against Colorado Saturday will be on ABC. On the ice, Wyatt Johnson and Jason Robertson scored twice. Jamie Benn added a goal and 2 assists, and the Dallas Stars beat the San Jose Sharks 6-3 for their 5th straight win. Dallas took over sole possession of first place in the Central Division by 2 points over the Colorado Avalanche, who lost at home to Montreal. And Josh Doan had 2 goals in his first NHL game, including the go-ahead score with 8:29 left in the 3rd, and the Arizona Coyotes beat the Columbus Blue Jackets 6-2. Doan from nearby Scottsdale is the son of longtime Coyotes captain Shane Doan and the first Arizona native to play for the franchise. Reach out to me anytime across the board on social media at Matt Ray Talk. More on the way on this Wednesday morning. You're listening to America's First News.
How are you doing this morning?
Well, so far, so good.
So far. All right. Well, good. Thanks for coming in, as always, as usual. Okay. There's nobody watching, but I got a little live. This is how my wife watches me. This is how she keeps tabs on me in the morning. So I got a little. So it does a little live stream here. It's something I'm just playing with. So yeah. All right. Who should we shout out here? Shout out Auburn. Why the heck not? All right, Dr. Mitch. All right, we got 30 seconds. We got to get you out of here by 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can have a little wiggle room.
Okay, got it. All right, yeah. Busy guy. You got things to go,
Oh yeah.
meetings to chair,
Right.
all that.
Decisions to be made.
Decisions to be made, all the things. All right. Here we go. Yeah, there you go. You know the drill. And good Wednesday morning to you. Wednesday, March 27th, and it is 15 minutes to the top of the hour, 7:45 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI, voice of the foothills. And hey, good morning to you, Auburn. Currently, it is 43 degrees where you're at and where I'm at right now. Looking for a high today of 54 degrees. Gang, it is always a special day when Placer County Supervisor Jim Holmes is in the building. Hang on, Jim. I got to get my rim shot ready because you sneak some jokes in there on your every now and again. We gotta get that ready. Jim, how are you doing on this fine Wednesday morning?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. What's the word of the day?
Word of the day is decrepit.
Decrepit. Well, it's your old decrepit county supervisor. I'll tell you what, young people don't pay me no mind anymore. I'll tell you what.
Did you see how wide my eyes just went when you asked me the word of the day? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just read it. What was it?
I couldn't.
I'm just glad I passed the test here, Jim.
Right.
How are we doing this morning?
Doing all right, a little chilly out there.
It is a little. We had a nice warm week last week. We were in the 70s, 75.
I know.
Like,
Nice.
and just kidding. Going back to a little bit of the rain. Here's a fun fact. My wife said that she said she learned this. I said, how old were you when you learned this? And she said, it was last year that I learned this. But basically, we just celebrated the first day of spring. I think it was last week.
Right.
But technically, the first day is about halfway through the actual season.
Right.
So like the first day of summer is actually, we're already technically into summer, but that's the first day when the equinox hits and everything like that. So like I had no idea.
There's an old term called Indian summer.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
And
there we
I
go.
think it's the time before the first frost.
Yes.
The last frost.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure it out once. But it's Indian summer. Maybe that's what we had last.
Maybe that's what it is. I'm just too trusting of the calendar, Jim. It's just when it says first day of summer or spring or fall,
Yeah, right.
I believe it. But like
Right.
a sucker,
Right, that's right there. So it's-
My wife said that makes so much more sense if I can think that I haven't lost where I think I've lost all this time. Like
Right.
oh, it's this point already.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it's already been this point for a little bit. So
Right.
yeah.
Yes. And then time seems to move faster the longer you.
That is,
on the
gosh
planet.
darn it, you're right. It just seems to be going at a clip. So
Yeah.
anyway, hey, what do we got? We've got the famous blue papers here with all the agenda items and notes and all that good stuff.
Yeah, we had a rousing meeting yesterday
Oh,
down at the,
rousing.
over at the Board of Supervisors.
Okay. Yeah.
The old decrepit county officer.
Look, Jim, I don't pick the words. They're just there. I just. Hey, where do you guys meet again? Does it change where your meetings go?
Well, we're back at the what's commonly called the domes on.
The
Fullwater
domes,
Avenue.
yeah,
It's the
Fullwater.
county administrative office.
Right,
is the
right.
Technical name. We were meeting out at the County Community Development Resource Agency Center where the Planning Commission meets.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we had to do some ADA compliance. And so we've done that. And if you've been over there now, they've got ramps coming in, and we had to put some ADA, seating and space for wheelchairs.
Is this at the domes?
Domes,
yeah,
yeah.
at the domes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that now? I seem to remember thinking that their fate was on the chopping block or something. Are we keeping those around, or what are we doing with those?
Well, what's happening is, we've done all this building out at the County Government Center, formerly DeWitt.
Yep.
And there is a space available right there off Bell Road for a new administrative center.
Right.
But we built, just built the Health and Human Services building center.
It's a good looking building, by the way.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been in there for meetings about 3 times.
Well, I've only seen the outside of it,
Yeah.
but from the pictures
Wow.
I've seen from the inside,
Yeah,
it looks real good.
If you want to take a tour, wear your walking shoes.
Okay.
Yeah, because
It does look. You're right.
It's nice, and I said when we dedicated the building, I said, all the folks that have worked in the old barracks and the army barracks, and 40
Long time now.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so there was several of those people there that I called out when we did their.
You put in your time. Here's a nice space for you.
Yeah,
to
sorry you
work
couldn't
in.
be here for this, but
Yeah, right. The lights flickering on and off, and all that good stuff.
so there is some, we're doing some, we moved the elections department down to on Atherton
Mhm.
in Rockland.
Mhm.
So that's freed up a lot of space in that
finance building.
Okay.
And then the upper, some of the folks that were housed in the CEDRA, the Community Development Resource Agency building that work for HHS, are now over in the new building. So that's going to free up some space. And we still have people that are working at home.
Right.
Maybe 2 or 3 days a week. So that's opens up some space.
A little bit of a hybrid schedule there. Yeah.
So it may be may come that we can use some of that space to move into the Community Development Resource Agency to have administrative buildings. So
who makes those decisions to shuffle folks around? Or, okay, this department's going there, this department's going over there.
Yeah, well, it's ultimately comes to the Board of Supervisors, but the department heads know where people should be and where they need them to be. We just moved a lot of our environmental facilities people over to upstairs in the Community Development Resource Agency. So that whole block of the building is open. So, So there's some options. Somebody called it a waterfall of move. So I hope it's just not a flood.
Adam, get the rim shot. Oh, we missed it. Hang on. There we try one more time. There we go. All right. Almost ready for it.
Yeah. So anyhow, there's a movement and afoot.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that all works out. But they got to settle it. All these new buildings and people that are staff are populated now has to move.
Yeah, everybody's got to kind of try out the space, find out what's going to work, what's not going to work. Okay.
So it seems like we have too much space, but you never have too much space. It's like, if you live in your home for a long time, you need
tell me about it. It all gets filled up.
Yeah.
Our house that we moved into, I'm like, look at all this space we have. And now I'm like, where did all this space that we go have?
Now you gotta go and rent a place.
Get off Facebook Marketplace. We're good. We don't need any more. That's the thing. We're going to get something. We got to sell something. That should be the rule. So anyway,
we're going through this affordable housing rezone process.
Yes.
And it's really brutal. People are all, rightly so upset, particularly those who are in the rural or semi-rural areas.
Mm-hmm.
So we had, had a lot of folks in public comment, expressing their opinion. Let me just put it that way.
Sure.
So some people tell us we need to push back. Tell the state, no, we're not going to do this. We've got our own land use authority, etc.
Right.
Well, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I'm sure
yesterday we had to approve the annual progress report for to health and community development at the state. And it's an annual progress report, tells the state where we're at. We do this with the Board of Supervisors, budget time. We have a quarterly update. Where are we at?
Yeah.
And a lot of departments come in and this is where we're at on this project, etc.
Right.
But we have to do that with the state.
And
we got in a long discussion and a lot of public comment about that. But those that want us to push back and say no to the state, and I wish we could, but we can't because there's dire consequences if we don't get our housing element approved by the state.
Does that come in the form of funding? Is that where the consequences?
Yes.
Is there more than just one area?
If we have our housing element is approved, we have funding and we have more authority to do what we need to do. But if we sell, no, we're not going to do that. This is what can happen. It's called the process called the builder's remedy. And what is a builder's remedy, you ask? Well, that's when builders can come in and just do the development they want to do without any land use authority.
Oh.
And so, for example, in Santa Monica, there's 13 different projects. 3 are 10 stories, and there's, several of them are 10 stories high, and 2 of them are 18 stories high. The county cannot do anything about that. That's the builder's remedy, and that's the law.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, the state can issue a moratorium on any development, any building. And the Sacramento County went through this. And what happens is, if you want a building permit to remodel your bathroom, you can't
do it
until you comply with the housing state's requirements.
Interesting.
So yeah.
So that's basically on a larger level. Like
Right.
just your bathroom was an example.
Yeah, right,
but like,
right.
hey, if you want to do anything that built, you can't until you come into alignment with
Right.
what.
But
Okay.
you could use that if your wife wants to expand the bathroom. You say, well, listen, we can't do that because the county hasn't complied with it. Not that I would ever.
I have been battling plumbing in my house for the last 3 weeks. I don't even want to talk about bathroom right now. Oh, it's so sad. It'll make you cry. Anyway, I got you. Point taken. Point taken.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyhow, it's a battle. I've been out touring the different sites.
Yeah.
That are proposed. Some of them would fill the numbers that we need.
Yeah.
But they're not feasible.
Yeah.
And
Is it
so-
infrastructure? Like
Yeah,
infrastructure
yeah,
has to be there, right? You just
so-
can't put them out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, you have to put in sewer, water, and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
just not going to work. It
Yeah.
would fulfill our numbers, and the state would be okay with that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we can't do that with the citizens that live out in those areas.
Right, exactly.
So-
Yeah. So by saying like, no, we can't just go down to Sacramento and like a toddler say, no, I'm not going to do that.
No.
We have to say, okay, we're going to do that, and by doing that, we're in compliance. Now, as the county, we have more control over where these are going to go. Is that
Right.
or otherwise the state's going to? I kind of picture them just in Sacramento, just like throwing a dart at the map and saying, "Yep, that's where the dart landed. That's where the buildings are going to go." And you're like, "There's something there already."
So by being carefully going through this process, we have more flexibility.
Okay.
With our
Got it.
land use authority.
Okay.
And so anyhow, it's an ongoing process. We're supposed to have the numbers into the state by May 15th.
Okay.
And so staff is scrambling, trying to get all this work. And then we got 5 supervisors that are in the mix, and got to make sure that we're all on the same page. And so
Yeah.
I spent quite a bit of time going out and looking at the different sites. There's one out on Florence Road, way out on the way to Nevada County, and just not going to work. And this, quite frankly, the property owner's got this piece of property, doesn't know what to do with it. So, let's rezone it, and he can sell it. So,
Right.
So that's what happened. That's all happening. Also.
Interesting. Interesting. Boy, a lot of moving parts there.
Oh, I tell you what, you got to keep up with it.
All right, so there's that. What else we got? Hey, real quick.
Yeah.
So we did a story a little bit earlier in the week. So El Dorado County, the Needle Exchange Program, they're putting out, speaking of the state, they're actually pushing back on that and saying, hey, this actually doesn't work. This actually leads to more drug use and whatnot. Are we following that at all? Are we kind of keeping an eye on them, or are we?
We applied, and we're not going to do it.
Okay.
And I forget what the district attorney would recommend that. And
Okay.
You always listen to the sheriff or the district attorney.
Sure.
In my job.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the county auditor as well.
Yeah. When they talk, you listen. Okay.
That's right.
Got it, for sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Good to know. Just wondering if we were keeping an eye on what's going on.
But interestingly enough, we're looking at a process where at the fire station, particularly the station at 180 on Atwood Road.
Yeah.
You could we wanted to put a box in there where people, for example, if you have needles because of your hepatitis, or you can drop them off in a safe place.
Okay.
Because they don't take them at the pharmacies anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And in order to, if they need to take them, they have to take them down to the MRF, the materials recovery place.
Right. Okay.
In Lincoln.
Yeah.
And so it's just not feasible for particularly someone in North Auburn. And there we have an older clientele there, or residents.
Right.
And so there's a reason why there's about 6 pharmacies in North Auburn. See, because there's older people.
Well, we need access.
They need their drugs.
And I'm not saying they're decrepit, Jim. I didn't. You brought it up, not me. No, my goodness gracious sakes alive.
Well, it's your word.
I have one guy's word of the day there. Okay, that's interesting. That's good to know, though, because I was kind of wondering from our side of the ravine over here. We're talking about El Dorado County.
Yeah, so we got some opioid settlement funds.
Okay.
And that's for people that to help people that are in recovery. But the district attorney wants some of those funds, and the sheriff sheriff's office wants some of those funds.
Okay.
And guess who usually gets those funds? Law enforcement.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. Sheriff's office. I was a little nervous to answer.
To carve out, enough to have at least a place to drop off those needles.
Okay.
at a safe place.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
another thing we have to worry about is make sure that the box is where it is strong, because we don't want someone homeless person that's on drugs.
Well, yeah, they can just go ahead and
So
kind of get secondhand.
Nothing's easy anymore.
Well, but it does make sense, especially with the folks that need it. I remember my wife at one point. There was, oh Lord, this is when it comes for better or for worse, Jim. I knew very long ago I was not meant to be in the medical profession. I'm very squeamish when it comes to stuff like that, but can make it through we did home birth, so the kids were born at home, so was there for that, didn't pass. At one point, my wife, with whatever she had going on medically, I actually had to inject a needle into her belly.
Yeah.
Oh, Jim, Lord have mercy. I almost. But it's funny what you can do when it's your family, when this is kind of something that's on the line. We had to do it for like 2 weeks or something.
Yeah, I had to do that with my wife.
Yeah.
Oh.
My God! That's a test of something. I don't know what it is.
I got chewed out one time. You tapped me.
I know. I'm like, how in the world are they trusting me to do this? Like, what? Somebody somewhere said, like, but all that to be said, yeah, having a spot to dispose of those needles, obviously there's a medical reason for them, and yes, there's the flip side of that. There's being used in a bad way, but. I'm like, I'm not just going to hold on to these things around in my house, right? So to have that secure way to dispose of them.
Can't throw them in the trash.
Yeah, and exactly. Can't throw them in the trash. Really interesting. All right, we'll keep an eye on that.
Right.
See what's going on there. Anyway, sorry, side story there. Okay, continuing on now.
Well, we were asked by Health and Human Services to approve authorization to apply for a $7 million grant for bridge housing.
Okay.
Now that's not building houses on the bridge.
Okay, that was the blank look at my face is like, well, is that no hands? And we're putting a bunch of tiny homes on no hands? What's happening there? What does that mean?
Well, for people that are short of funds for their housing, and they need some help, it's a bridge loan to help them. So it's $7 million over a couple of years.
Okay.
And if someone is in needs, particularly if they have some kind of a mental illness, they need a place to stay. This would give them ability to stay in a motel.
Okay.
Those kinds of things.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
Yeah. And so it just makes us more available to help people that need that kind of temporary shelter.
So is this for homeowners too? Like if you're needing help, if you have a mortgage and you're
generally it's I suppose you could use some of that if your mortgage payment is due and you don't have enough to cover that.
Right.
But mostly it's for people that are renting homes, or apartments.
Yeah.
And they don't have enough to make the month's rent.
Okay.
So those are the kinds of things, and this comes from the state.
And what department is overseeing that? And the
Health and Human Services.
Health and Human Services. Okay, so if that's somebody that finds out about it, they come in, they apply for that, or how does that process?
Yeah, there's a process, and we've got the 211 system.
Yep. Okay.
And when someone calls in 211 and they don't know what to do, they can refer them to Health and Human Service or the Salvation Army or someone that provides those types of services.
That's interesting. I've never heard of 211 until recently, probably within the last year. I had no idea that was an actual service. Is that something that's being advertised? Do you know anything about how they get the word out on that?
Well, it's been, it's been a lot of the counties over the years have had 211 systems, particularly San Diego County. And we didn't have it here. We were the largest populated county that did not have a 211 system. So we started working. This was about, I guess, 4, maybe 5 years ago, we started working towards it. We finally got it. We joined with Nevada County, which has a system called Connecting Point.
Okay.
And so we work with them. Some of that we get some funding from different organizations that help us with that.
Right.
And then some of it comes from the general fund.
Got it. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Well, good to know.
So I'm going to be, I think on my newsletter, I'm going to write a little article about 211 and the cluster.
Yeah, I think we need to get more information out about that.
It's really, particularly with a fire or emergency, someone doesn't know what to do.
Right.
They can call 211. There's they people that run those phones know where to send them.
Got it.
And
Got
it
it.
is particularly in this with this our older decrepit environment.
Jim, doggone it. We go. Well, that's good to know, because I feel like, more people need to know about that. We need to get the information out about that. Okay, we have like about a minute left here, Jim. What can we wrap up with here?
Well, we had quite a few other issues as far as development. The Bickford Ranch, we had to approve authorization to move forward with another phase. By the way, they're starting to build out there at Bickford Ranch.
Mhm.
They've got some model homes that are ready.
Is that off by Canyon View? Is that right? Is that the one? Am I thinking of the right one?
Bickford Ranch is right off of off Sierra College Boulevard.
Oh, okay.
193.
Oh, I'm way
And
off.
then,
Okay. Yeah.
And then the Penryn on
Yep.
the other side of Penryn.
Oh, right.
That's been
Okay.
ongoing. That's
That's
been a
right.
now 24-year project.
Oh, okay.
But they're finally getting
that's
off
right.
the ground.
I remember you saying that. Jim, I'm gonna cut it short here a little bit. Thank you so much for coming in. I got to make sure that we're hitting the top of the hour news here. But thanks as always. Looking forward to seeing you next time.
It's always a pleasure to be on Radio KAHI 950 AM 104. The voice of the footage.
You got it. Checks in the mail, Jim. Thanks so much. We'll go back to America's First News now, and I'll see you back here in just a little bit. I need to start America's First News. There we go. Whoops. I gotta hit play. Jim, sorry to cut you off there. I know we got to hit the top there, but that was a good little discussion. Yeah.
But I just want to say, I had my doubts about America's First News.
Oh yeah.
But it actually is pretty darn good. It's a little bit to the right, but not that much.
Well, it's really interesting. It really is, because folks will call in, and it's the old saying: you can please some of the people all the time, or all the people some of the time. You can't please all the people all the time. And there are it's too right leaning, it's too left leaning. It's just like, you try and hit somewhere in the middle. But I had a friend of mine's a pastor, and he said, and from the same service, he was meeting people at the end of the door after the service, and one person said, you used too much scripture, and another person said, you didn't use enough scripture in there. You're right. You're not gonna hit it. Yeah, you're never gonna hit it.
That's my job.
I was gonna say, you probably know all about that. I like what did you say, that somebody had some strong comments or strong they vocalized it, which I'm sure they did. So anyway. But yeah, always fun to have you in here, Jim. I know we've got it on the calendar coming up next, so we've got it all scheduled and ready to go.
Okay.
I know you got a busy day. What's on the docket for today?
Go to the Placer County Transportation Planning Agency meeting.
Oh boy, there we go.
Yeah.
Are they at least serving pizza or?
No, they bring donuts. Bring donuts.
Hey, that's all good too.
I try not to have. I can't eat this one though, so I always try to stay away.
Here's the thing: I cut a donut in half and just eat half of it, and that way I'm burning calories. So then when I come back for the other half, I feel
the calories fall out.
That's it. That's the secret right there. So
okay,
awesome. Well, thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. Have a fantastic rest of the day. We'll see you again soon.
All right. Thanks.
In order to rebuild this bridge and reopen this port, including our readiness as a department to approve emergency funding as soon as we receive that request. Meanwhile, our Maritime Administration will help with port, harbor, and supply chain operations. Our Federal Highway Administration will assist when it comes to the bridge itself and any ways that we can help ease roadway congestion for residents and commuters who can no longer use this major thoroughfare. The crash happened long before the busy morning commute on the bridge, which was used by 12 million vehicles last year. From 1960 to 2015, there were 35 major bridge collapses worldwide due to ship or barge collisions, according to the World Association for Waterborne Transport Infrastructure. The U.S. Supreme Court justices Tuesday didn't appear ready to limit access to the abortion pill mifepristone in a case that could have far-reaching implications for millions of American women and for scores of drugs regulated by the Food and Drug Administration. The case was brought by a small group of doctors who aren't required to even prescribe the medication, but nonetheless argue they've suffered harm because they treat patients who have used it. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson and Justice Neil Gorsuch questioned why the small group should have a say on the rights of women everywhere.
I'm saying, assuming we have a world in which they can actually lodge the objections that you say that they have. My question is, isn't that enough to remedy their issue? Do we have to also entertain your argument that no one else in the world can have this drug, or no one else in America should have this drug in order to protect your clients? So again, Your Honor, it's not possible given the emergency nature of the situation.
So let me interrupt there. I'm sorry. I think Justice Jackson's saying that let's talk about that, okay, with respect to your clients. Normally, in Article 3, traditional equitable remedies, we issue, and we say over and over again, provide a remedy sufficient to address the plaintiff's asserted injuries and go no further. We have before us a handful of individuals who have asserted a conscience objection. Normally, we would allow equitable relief to address them. Recently, I think what Justice Jackson's alluding to, we've had, one might call it a rash of universal injunctions or vacatures. And this case seems like a prime example of turning what could be a small lawsuit into a nationwide legislative assembly on an FDA rule or any other federal government action.
It's the first abortion-related case the court has taken up since a majority of the current justices struck down the constitutional right to an abortion. The administration and drug manufacturers warn a ban could undermine the FDA's drug approval process more widely by inviting judges to second-guess science. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre.
President and the Vice President have been very clear. We're going to continue to certainly defend FDA's approval. It is independent. It uses science. It is a medication, as I said at the top, that has been around. When you think of mifepristone for more than 2 decades, and this is science-based.
The FDA approved.
Okay, I gotta figure this out. Let's get to go with commercials.
The High Court will continue the abortion debate, and the outcome of the new case expected by early summer could affect races for Congress.
0001.
Shares of Donald Trump's social media company rose about 16% in the first day of trading on the NASDAQ, boosting the value of Trump's stake in the company, as well as the smaller holdings of fans who purchased shares as a show of support for the former president. Trump Media and Technology Group merged Monday with a blank check company called Digital World Acquisition Corporation. Trump Media, which runs the social media platform Truth Social, has now taken Digital World's place on the NASDAQ stock exchange. Shares closed at $57.99, up 16.1%, giving the company a market value of $7.85 billion. Somebody in New Jersey overcame the odds Tuesday night and won the $1.12 billion Mega Millions jackpot, according to the Mega Millions website. So the latest drawing, nobody had matched all 6 numbers and won the Mega Millions jackpot since December 8th. That amounted to 30 straight drawings without a big winner. It's tough to win the Mega Millions jackpot because the odds are so long, at 1 in 302.6 million. Reach out to me anytime across the board on social media at Matt Ray Talk. You've got America's First News.
America's First News with Matt Ray.
Crime across the country is at an all-time high. It feels like even a family road trip is taking a risk. We don't want the feeling of being unprotected and vulnerable. We found
We'll see if we can make a recovery here.
GetCCL.com gave us the help we needed to apply for a legal concealed carry permit that's recognized in over half of the country. GetCCL.com simplifies the process to apply, and it's all online. We used their free qualification process to answer a few questions and applied for our permit right from home. Thanks to reciprocity laws between states, when you're issued a New Hampshire concealed carry permit, you can legally carry in any state that recognizes your New Hampshire permit.
We're going to see what happens here. Is it going to go automatically to the stinger, or is it going to go to the commercials that I forgot to play?
Have peace of mind.
We shall see.
Go to GetCCL.com. That's GetCCL.com.
8 seconds to find out.
Go to GetCCL.com.
5,
Exercise your
4,
rights today. Go
3,
to GetCCL.com.
2, 1. Oh, yeah. Uh-oh. And good Wednesday morning to you. Wednesday, March 27th, 14 minutes past the top of the hour here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI, voice of the foothills. And hey, good morning to you, Colfax. Currently, it is 43 degrees where you're at right now, looking for a high of 51 degrees. All right, let's turn it over now to the Fox Business Report.
It's Joe Bonley, and this is the Fox Business Report. Stocks are rallying at the open. Kimberly Clark is reorganizing the company. The parent company of Kleenex will split the business
Do that.
into units. Kimberly Clark shares opened up 2%. GameStop shares opened down 15% after its disappointing quarter and slumping sales. Robinhood Markets is launching its first ever credit card to its gold members who pay $5 a month for its premium service. Robinhood shares
There.
opened up 4.5%. Merck has received FDA approval for a lung
There we
disease
go.
treatment to be used as an add-on therapy to other drugs. Merck
Whoops.
shares are up 5%. And Trump Media
Well, we
and
figured it
Technology Group shares opened 21% in its second day of trading. That's your Fox Business Report.
I'm Jenny Cosola, invested in you.
It ignites something inside of you. Sets a light in an elevated state of being. Days are pure exhilaration. And the nights, they're simply electric. See it, hear it, feel it. Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
Foster Farm Supply, the Big Red Barn on Highway 80 in Newcastle. With the new year, it's time to spray the weeds, lay down the fertilizer, and soon time to plant the pastures. Fix or replace the fence. Ever hear the term good fence?
Got that one too.
is great
Okay,
here?
perfect.
Well, it's true. Bring your plants to Foster Farm Supply.
Traffic.
And staff will get you started. We've got your critters covered too, from livestock and poultry to cat and dog. We can feed them all. Foster Farm Supply, the Big Red Barn on Highway 80 in Newcastle. Come see us for all your critter and farming and ranching needs.
16 minutes past the top of the hour. Taking a look outside at traffic right now. It looks like it's still spring break. It's pretty light as it would be as opposed to normally right about now. Looks like we've got a slowdown on Rockland Road right around 80 eastbound. Looks like they're doing construction out over there. So heads up if you're heading around Rockland Road 80 eastbound, slowing down just a little bit there. But then eastbound up the hill looking real good right now. Westbound, 80 westbound going into Sacramento looking real good. No slowdowns really. 80 westbound over to I-5 looking good. I-5 northbound, if you're going to the airport, looking real clear right now. Southbound slowing down as you're heading into Sacramento, as we'd expect. Cap City Freeway stop and go as you're heading into Sacramento, but nothing major right now. 50 eastbound and westbound looking real good. If you're heading westbound up 50, it looks like we have a disabled vehicle. The right lane is blocked. That's US 50 eastbound at Bass Lake Road there. So heads up, but doesn't seem to be slowing down anybody very much. If you see somebody on the side of the road, though, make sure that you give them a break, give them plenty of room, and give yourself some time, even though it's a little bit lighter traffic this week, to get to where you're going. Back with more right after this.
Save 15% every Wednesday, and everyone can save on hundreds of products throughout the store every day. This month, all new Chapters products are 30% off, like new Chapters Every Woman's Once Daily 40+ multivitamin, optimized for women over 40 with essential nutrients to support bone, heart, immunity, beauty, stress, energy, and healthy aging. Visit Sunrise Natural Foods today in Auburn and in Roseville. SunriseNaturalFoods.net.
In the heating and air conditioning business, the state of California has millions of regulations.
Nailed
But
it.
surprisingly,
But
almost nothing
surprising.
when it comes to the technical knowledge required of a heating and air technician.
That means they can send a salesman to your home that looks like a true technician but knows next to nothing when servicing your heating and air system. His only focus is to sell you a new one. That'll never happen with Big Mountain's 2-for-1 rejuvenation of your heating and air system.
Nice.
About 2 to 3 hour truly comprehensive.
Got all the commercials I forgot to play or didn't play when Jim was here. Nailed it.
Breakdown or the service will be free all year long. $78 or save
Okay. Here we go. This is going to be quick. Quick back to America's First News. Get ready with green onions, Adam. Green onions. Onions. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Green onions, go. 19 minutes past the top of the hour. Headed back now to America's First News. And when we come back at the bottom of the hour, we'll have Sports Ball. We'll have your sports updates and the weather. Back now to America's First News. See you back here in just a little bit. Woo! Right, nobody panic. We're back on track now.
Their Israeli counterparts Tuesday to ensure that any military operation in the southern city of Rafah unfolds in phases to protect civilians and secure the delivery of aid.
0053. Little program here that just programs all the commercials. Oh no, that is the first one. It's the first one? Yeah, that's a good one.
Part of the conversation that
Producer Adam's commercial is coming up. We got to make sure it's right. Hey there, KAHI listeners. Producer Adam here, reminding you to listen to Chris in the Morning.
And of course, I discussed the maritime
Okay,
corridor.
so we got until 8:30, basically to the bottom of the hour. Got all of those commercials played. Check. Nobody panic. And so when we come back, bottom of the hour, Sports Ball.
How the logistics, how the distribution part of it, the security.
And weather. And we're done. Cool. Going to finish the news.
Sure. So that's something that did also come up with Minister Gallant. Israel will play a role in providing some type of security and securing the temporary causeway to the coastline of Gaza, but those details are still going through the process of being worked out.
The meeting, which also included General C.Q. Brown, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, comes as tensions have spiked between the U.S. and Israel, stemming from widespread global frustration over the escalating humanitarian crisis in Gaza. A United Nations expert told the global body's Human Rights Council Tuesday she believes Israel's military campaign amounts to genocide and called on countries to immediately impose sanctions and an arms embargo. UN rights expert Francesca Albanese told the council Israel has met the threshold.
Specifically, Israel has committed 3 acts of genocide with requisite intent, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, and imposing measures intended to prevent birth within the group. The genocide in Gaza is the most extreme stage of a long-standing settler colonial process of erasure of the native Palestinians. For over 76 years, this process has oppressed the Palestinians as a people in every way imaginable, crushing their inalienable right to self-determination demographically, economically, territorially, culturally, and politically. Israel has attempted to displace them, expropriate their land and other resources, and ultimately replace them. In this darkest hour, the international community cannot continue to ignore that it's Israel's project to rid Palestine of Palestinians in defiance of international law and the world's failure to call Israel to account that has led to genocide laid bare in Gaza.
Israel, which did not attend the session, rejected the findings. Its diplomatic mission said the use of the word genocide was outrageous and said the war was against Hamas and not Palestinians. Israel's offensive has killed more than 32,000 Palestinians, according to local health officials, and driven a third of Gaza's population to the brink of starvation. It was launched in response to Hamas's October 7th attack on Israel, which killed some 1,200 people. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris promoted their health care agenda in the battleground state of North Carolina Tuesday, arguing that Democrats would preserve access to care while Republicans would reverse gains made since ACA became law 14 years ago. Republicans have opposed the president's signature initiatives to lower medical costs, and they've seized opportunities to restrict abortion rights after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade.
Access to health care should be a right and not just a privilege. No matter who you are, where you live, or how much you earn. And President Biden, with your support, will continue to make sure that everyone in our country has the health care they need.
Tom and I have come back to North Carolina to celebrate the ACA and remind all of us we can't take anything for granted. And even during the deadly pandemic, Trump and his MAGA friends in Congress wanted to get rid of the ACA, kick millions of Americans off their health insurance. It's sick. Now they want to, quote his word, terminate the ACA, as my predecessor says. If that ever happened, we'd also terminate a lot of lives as well. But we're not going to let that happen, are we? We're not going to let that happen. Trump proudly says, quote, After 50 years, with no one coming close, I was able to kill Roe v. Wade. That's a statement. You've seen it on television.
Former President Donald Trump denied in a new social media post that he wants to terminate the ACA, even though he promised to do just that as recently as last week in Arizona. Trump called the president Joe Budden and said Biden, quote, disinformates and misinformates all the time. Former President Trump is now selling Bibles as he runs for the White House. The presumptive Republican nominee released a video on his Truth Social platform Tuesday, urging his supporters to buy the God Bless the USA Bible, which is inspired by country music singer Lee Greenwood. Trump is selling Bibles at $60 a piece as he's faced a serious money crunch amid mounting legal bills while he fights 4 criminal indictments along with a series of civil charges.
God bless the USA Bible, and it's just very important to me. I want to have a lot of people have it. All Americans need a Bible in their home, and I have many. It's my favorite book. It's a lot of people's favorite book. We must protect content that is pro-God. We love God, and we have to protect anything that is pro-God. We must defend God in the public square and not allow the media or the left-wing groups to silence, censor, or discriminate against us. We have to bring Christianity back into our lives and back into what will be again a great nation.
Last month, Trump debuted a new line of Trump-branded sneakers, including $399 gold Never Surrender high tops at SneakerCon in Philadelphia. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. chose Nicole Shanahan on Tuesday to be his vice presidential pick, adding a wealthy but nationally unknown figure to his independent White House bid that's trying to appeal to voters disaffected by a rematch of the 2020 election. The 38-year-old is a California attorney and philanthropist who's never held office. She leads Baya Echo Foundation, an organization she founded to direct money toward issues including women's reproductive science, criminal justice reform, and environmental causes. Kennedy, a former Democrat, made the announcement in Oakland, California, where Shanahan was raised in an impoverished family. In making the announcement, Kennedy said, quote, Nicole and I both left the Democratic Party. The Brazilian and French presidents Tuesday announced a plan to invest €1 billion in the Amazon, including parts of the rainforest in neighboring French Guyana. The two countries' government said in a joint statement the money will be spread over the next 4 years. To protect the rainforest, it will be a collaboration of state-run Brazilian banks and France's investment agency. Private resources will also be welcomed. French President Emmanuel Macron and his Brazilian counterpart, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, are meeting this week to revive relations between the countries after years of frictions with former President Jair Bolsonaro. Sean Diddy Combs' attorney said Tuesday that searches of the rapper's LA and Miami properties by federal authorities in a sex trafficking probe were a gross misuse of military-level force, and Combs is innocent and will continue to fight to clear his name. It's the first public statement from the music mogul's team since Monday's raids of his homes by Homeland Security investigators. Combs' attorney said there's no excuse for the excessive show of force and hostility exhibited by the authorities or by the way his children and employees were treated. The searches were part of an ongoing sex trafficking investigation by federal authorities in New York. NBC News cut ties Tuesday with former Republican National Committee Chief Ronna McDaniel less than a week after hiring her as an on-air political contributor, a decision that followed a furious protest by some journalists and commentators. In announcing the decision in a memo, NBC Universal's chair apologized to staff members who felt left down by the hire, acknowledging he signed off on it, saying, quote, no organization, particularly a newsroom, can succeed unless it's cohesive and aligned. Over the last few days, it's become clear that this appointment undermines that goal. More on the way on this Wednesday morning. Grab the coffee. Let's go.
Guys, are you getting up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? As we get older, so do our prostates, and that can mean urinary problems that affect our sleep and quality of life. Life is better outside the bathroom. Real Health's Prostate Complete can help you relieve those annoying and painful prostate symptoms. Available at Walmart or visit realhealth.com for more information and to order yours today. Try it risk-free with our 120-day money-back guarantee.
Okay.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA.
Here we go.
To diagnose, treat, or cure any disease.
At Hotshot Super, we listen to our customers. Everyday Diesel Treatment delivers a 6-in-1 premium fuel treatment for every fill-up, every time.
Sports ball. What are we going to do? NBA? Yep. MLB? Yep. Softball? Yep.
TopSecret.com.
1 minute, Adam.
USA Armed Forces stand ready to protect you.
No, a minute.
And our American
60. Well, it's not that now.
veterans return to civilian
It's
life
50 seconds.
deserve your recognition and support.
Just go with me.
You can help get vets to work by donating your car, truck, or van to Patriotic Hearts.
All right, last segment. Then we're done. A little bit shorter of a stream today. Had to update the software in order to get this thing to work. So
Donate today for fast pickup of your vehicle, running or not.
some days
Operators are standing by
your
to
computer
answer
has a case of the
questions
Mondays
tax-deductible
until Wednesday.
donation. Find out how
And that's just the
you
way it
can
is.
make a difference in the life of the United States veteran. 800-209-4580
20 seconds, Adam.
For 24-hour response, call 209-4580.
Sports ball music. Ooh, gotta pick out.
209-4580.
Arena shout out.
That's 800-209-4580.
How about rock? Forced Hill. And good Wednesday morning to you. It is Wednesday, March 27th, and it is 30 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:30 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI, voice of the foothills. And hey, good morning to you, Forest Hill. Currently, it is 44 degrees where you're at right now, looking for a high today of 51 degrees. All right, there's the sports ball music. Let's get right into it. Starting on the hardwood, Kings versus the Mavericks. Yeah, Adam, don't light the beam. They got beat quite handily. The Mavericks win that one 132-96. So, all right, well, maybe we'll just move past that game. Kings are going to play the Mavericks again on Friday. So we've got a couple days off here. Then the Kings are back on Friday playing at 7 o'clock here. Catch all of the action here on KAHI Friday at 7 p.m. Kings versus the Mavericks again. Hopefully we'll have a little bit better result than we did last night. Thunder versus the Pelicans. Thunder bring the Thunder. Win that one 119-112. Lakers versus the Bucks. That one goes into OT. Lakers eventually come out on top there 128-124. Warriors versus the Heat. Warriors win that one handily 113-92. MLB, I know, still preseason, spring training. I'm going to read the scores anyway, especially when it's the A's versus the Giants, although the Giants lost. But A's versus the Giants. A's won that one 3-1. Pablo Sandoval, Panda, he got a hit in the game. That was really cool to see. But still, the A's won 3-1. Dodgers versus the Angels. Angels on top there 4-3. Diamondbacks versus the Guardians. D-backs win that one 6-1. Mariners versus the Padres. Mariners on top there 7-6. Turning locally now. I've got the Auburn Journal in my hot little hands here. Let's talk a little bit about softball, specifically Placer Hillman. The Hill Gals actually have played just 3 games and are still in search of their first win, falling to Forest Hill twice earlier in the month and losing 17-4 to Bear River on Monday. Placer has plenty of time to prepare for its next game as it doesn't take the field again until April 3rd. The Hill Gals will host 12 Bridges in their final non-league contest before beginning Foothill Valley League play at Ponderosa on April 9th. All right, Hillman lady, Hill Gals, I should say. Gotta just get into the swing of things. See what I did there? Pun there? Getting into the swing of things. We're rooting for you as you're heading into regular season play. Back with your KAHI weather right after this.
Sir Adam here to remind you to listen to Chris in the morning along with Matt Ray and America's First News.
Matt, get ready.
Local news, weather, traffic, and local
Oh, Tim, actually. Tim, get ready. Daily Dad Jokes. This is my favorite commercial. 9 a.m. here on FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI, the voice of the foothills. I never miss it, and neither should you. My goodness, it's early.
Good Wednesday morning. I'm forecasting partly to mostly cloudy skies today and tonight. Occasional rain showers developing, and the high temperature 55 to 60, and the overnight temperature in the mid-40s. It'll be breezy through tonight. Partly sunny in the mid-50s. Thursday with a chance of a few showers. Spotty showers expected Friday. Mostly cloudy skies in the low to mid-50s. This is meteorologist
Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950
KAHI.
33 minutes past the top of the hour. Gang, that is going to do it for me. We're going to finish out the hour as we do on the weekdays here with America's First News and the O'Reilly Report. My thanks to Jim. Oh my gosh, get it together, Chris. My thanks, good Lord, gang. I'm about done for the day. Here we go. Jim Holmes, thanks so much for stopping in today. I need to go and take a nap. That's where I need to do right now. Until we meet again tomorrow, hopefully I'll be a little bit more rested. Remember to be kind, be honest, be yourself, And remember, you can't hate somebody if you're hugging them. Have a fantastic rest of the day. If it's your birthday, happy stinking birthday to you. I hope you enjoy it. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Back now to America's First News. That was rough. Oh my gosh, that was rough.
Recovery efforts are resuming today. Authorities say all 6 workers missing after a bridge collapse Tuesday are presumed dead. The Coast Guard called off the search overnight.
I'd like to announce tonight that based on the length of
All right,
time
gang. That's it.
we've gone in this search,
Very tired.
the search efforts
Just
that
fix our hair from the headphone hair there.
the water
Tired Wednesday. Hopefully a little bit more rest
believe that we're going to find
for tomorrow, Thursday. Have a fantastic day. See you later.
this evening